Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. I welcome you all guys into the brand new tutorial series for React hooks. From today onward, we will be learning in detail about React hooks. We will be discussing in today's introductory video about what are React hooks, why we need React hooks, what are the prerequisites for React hooks, what are the noteworthy points that we need to follow to learn React hooks, and a summary regarding all those. Later on in the coming videos, we will dive into code and learn in detail about React hooks. Let's move forward and try to learn what are React hooks. Let's first discuss about prerequisites. Prerequisites that we require to learn React hooks. I don't want you guys to be like very expert in React. I just want you guys to have a basic knowledge of React such as components, props, or states. At least you should have knowledge about components, props, and states. Then you can begin to learn React hooks. If you guys are totally beginner, you don't have any knowledge about React hooks, in my channel there is a complete tutorial series for beginner available. You can move forward and try to see those tutorial for beginners and then move forward towards React hooks. In this way, you will understand React hooks in more better way. Let's move ahead and try to see what are React hooks. React hooks are a new feature addition in React version 16.8 which allow you to use React features without having to write a class. How you can use the React feature without having to write a class? The best example is state. State of a component, you always use React classes before hooks. Update, you always use class components to state, to write a state or to keep a data in a state. So after hooks release, React allow you to store data in a state by using functional component as well. Keep it in mind, hooks doesn't work inside classes. So this is clear what are React hooks. Now let's see why React team bother that there must be a hooks in React, or why it is required to have React hooks, or why React hooks are better than class components. So first reason is understanding of this keyword. It's more related to JavaScript. In these reasons, by the way, your React knowledge or you have the expert level React knowledge. If you have the expert level of React knowledge, it will help you to understand the differences more better way. First example is actually more with up to JavaScript instead of React. That is understanding of this keyword. You guys all knows that this binding of this in the JavaScript in JavaScript classes, this keyword is a bit different than other all programming languages. Remembering to bind an event handler in class component, you have to always bind any kind of event handler you are using in class-based component, and classes cannot minify the code very well. What is the impact of that? It makes hot reloading very unreliable. So in hooks, you don't need to be wary about all these things as you do not use classes anymore. You will be using functional component. Your code will be already very short and it will be very understandable, and the React will do hot loading very fast. Let's discuss about the second reason that is mostly in the React, or you can talk about the expert level of React knowledge or advanced topic. One of those is HOCs, and you can say uh, there is no particular way to use stateful logic. Stateful logic means, for example, in our last series, we had learned about counters. You are having a counter and you want to use the counter logic, and you in multiple ways or the same logic you will be using in many components. These kind of logic you cannot reuse very easily. You must write either HOC or render props to solve this problem. And to not duplicate your code, you will be taking help of either higher order components or render props. It will make your code a bit tricky, and the code will be very hard, or it will make the code to make the code harder to follow, or the code understanding will be a bit tricky. There is a need to use stateful logic in a better way. After understanding all this, React team understand that there is a need to share the logic of these components or these small states in a better way, so the developers will not suffer with this or understanding of code. What about let's discuss about the last reason. Last reason is creating components for complex scenarios such as data fetching, subscribing to an event related code is not organized in one place. For example, I can say you are fetching a data. You should use component did mount or component did update. And another example, if you are binding any kind of listener or adding any kind of listener in your component, that will be done either in component did mount or unsubscribe in component did unmount. You guys can see that fetching data is really related to each other, and one scenario you are pushing the code or placing the code in two different component life cycles. Same as event listener, you are putting the same related code in two different component life cycle. But you can see like fetching data and subscribing to an event, both is being done in component did mount. Completely unrelated code you are putting in similar component life cycles method. Because of this stateful logic, we cannot break, because all these components are having very complex code. See, where I explained it in first point, create component of complex scenarios. So if you have a very complex logic, because of stateful logic, we cannot break component into smaller components, and we will be using putting the unrelated code with each other, and we will be duplicating the code, or we will be using data fetching related code in multiple class lifecycle methods. So these kind of things, by keeping those in mind, React team thinks that there is a necessity or need of React hooks that you should follow to write a code in more understandable and better way. Let me discuss about some noteworthy points. While using a hook, your React version must be 16.8 or higher, and hooks are completely opt-in. You don't need to learn hook if you don't want to use. It's not imposed on you to learn hooks by all means. If you are comfortable with class-based component, you can proceed with it. Hooks doesn't contain any break-in changes, and the release is 100% backward compatible. In case you're working in the application that is being done from 2017 or 2018 or 2016, and there are a couple of class-based components are there, still you can use hook on those applications because hooks are totally compatible with all the older code, and React team doesn't want to remove classes until now from their plan. Still React have classes, and there is no plan to remove classes from the React. And you cannot use hooks inside a class-based component. That's very clear. Let me say hooks doesn't replace your existing knowledge of React concept. If you have couple of knowledge about React, in hooks the knowledge is still same, but you are achieving all the functionalities in much better way with very less code. Instead, hooks provide a more direct API to React concept you already know. Very much clear. Let's go ahead and try to summarize what we have discussed in today's tutorial. Hooks are a new feature in React version 16.8. They allow you to use React feature without having write class. avoid this, avoid the whole confusion with this keyword, allows you to reuse stateful logic, organize the logic inside a component into reusable isolated units. I hope you guys understand the very basics related to hooks. Let's go ahead into code in the coming tutorial. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.